Welcome to 6th grade math curriculum night. The math teachers for the 6th grade are located below. Miss Gooch, Miss Dupree, and Miss Gooch and Miss Dupree teach together, Miss Medford, and Miss Chambers. Here's some information on 6th grade curriculum for this year. The students are currently in Chapter 0 Fluency, which covers long division, greatest common factor, least common multiple, distributive property, and all operations with decimals. The students will then learn ratio relations, percent, division with fractions, and measurement conversion, extending the number system, statistics, geometry, and expressions and equations. Course information. The students will receive formative and summative assessments throughout the year for a grade. Formative assessments are worth 30% of the student's grades. So this can be classwork, quizzes, etc. And then summative assessments will be tests and projects. Weekly homework is sent out each week by all of the math teachers. We are expecting the students to complete the homework each night, which is only about 6 to 10 questions. And then at the end of the week, they are going to turn in their homework, and the teachers will record it into PowerSchool, but their homework will be recorded as a classwork grade, which will not count in their overall grade, but instead will just be recorded for our data. The homework key will be included in the weekly newsletter, which is sent out each Monday of each week. If the students would like to have additional practice at home over math, then they can use the 3 websites below. Extra Math, which practices math facts such as multiplication and division, IXL, and Edmentum. Edmentum matches with their MAP scores, and we will have MAP conferencing, so going over the students' scores and what their goals are for their next MAP test soon. The students also have a math binder. They should have 5 sections in their binder: warm-up, notes, homework, anchor charts, and assessments. As mentioned below or above, the formative assessments are 30% of their grade and summative assessments are 70% of their grade. If the student makes a higher grade on their original summative than they do on some of their formatives, then that original summative will replace their formative grades. So an example of this would be if the student made a 70 on their long division formative, but they made an 80 on their original summative, then that 80 will replace that 70 long division formative grade. This only counts for their original summative though. So their retake grade, if the student were to take a retake, their retake grade would not replace their formative grade. Students are able to retake their summative assessments, but not formative assessments, if they make a grade below 80, so 79 or below. Students participate in advisement every Wednesday of each week on full weeks. So if we are out one of the days that week, then we will not have advisement. Each student has a mentor or an advisee that loops for 7th, 6th, and 8th grade. So the students will stay with their advisement teacher, for all of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. Advisement meets every Wednesday starting September 16th. We have PBIS here at Malcolm Bridge. It stands for Positive Behavior Interventions and Support. Students are able to receive lightning points whenever they do something great in class. This is a way for them to show this is a way for them to show them being respectful, kind, showing leadership, all of these great things that we want to see students exhibit each day. If students have an action where they need to receive a consequence, then they will receive a step. If the student receives a step from Friday of the prior week to Thursday of this week, then they will not receive fit that Friday. If they were to receive a step, here are the way that we would contact you. So for the first step, we would not contact you, but it instead would be the student's responsibility to tell their parents. It's kind of like a slap on the wrist and saying, you need to do better, but you're going to still receive a consequence of not going outside for fit on Friday. The second step would be a discussion with the parents, so parent contact and a discussion with the student. Each of the steps, the student will have a conference with the teachers, just a one-on-one quick, hey, this is why you received this step, this is your consequence, this is how we need to change. On the third step, the student will receive silent lunch and the parent will be contacted. On the fourth step, the student will receive after-school detention, which will be set up by the teacher who gives your student a step, and you will be contacted. On the fifth step, it will be an office referral or ISS, and administration will contact parents. Hopefully, after the fifth step, the student will not need to receive another step, but if they do, they will have after-school detention and parent-teacher conference. Students also can get rewards, so we will be starting up a school store soon, and students will be able to spend their lightning points. Also, Ms. Gooch and Ms. Dupree are having their own personal store, and students will be able to spend their lightning bucks those days as well. Assignments in its learning. So if a student needs to find the assignments in its learning, for Ms. Medford and Ms. Chambers, they can go to its learning and select math. Then they need to go to the plans in its learning. Once they go to the plans, they need to select their unit. Currently, we are in Chapter 0 Fluency. After they do that, they need to scroll to the date, and under the date, they will find the directions and the resources located to the right. This is where all of Ms. Medford's information for the school year will be. Ms. Gooch and Ms. Dupree do this a little bit differently. So on the landing page of Ms. Gooch and Ms. Dupree's It's Learning, you will see the daily activities. Under that will be the lesson plans, essentially, for the students. Each day will have the homework, the activities, the anchor charts, the video resources, anything that the student does in class or has access to in class will also be linked into this lesson plan. The students, if they say they lost their homework, the students are able to access their homework for that week where it says homework down at the bottom. I've given you a snapshot of what the students will be able to see when they go to Ms. Gooch and Ms. Dupree's It's Learning. If the students need to see additional resources such as tutorial videos or the word wall that are up in the room, then they can access those on the left under the general classroom documents. Students have access to their anchor charts in their binder in the anchor chart section for Ms. Gooch and Ms. Dupree. And so the word wall will give them the additional vocabulary words that are located in just Ms. Gooch and Ms. Dupree's room. So if a student is absent from school, they need to go to It's Learning and locate the date that they were absent. They also need to see the work that they were missing and complete that work while they are out. If you have any questions, please just email the teacher. If a student is on quarantine and would like to set up a Google Meet, please by all means set up a Google Meet by emailing their teacher. Students are expected to complete the missing work without a teacher prompting them to. This is really important this year that the students stay on top of their work even if they are absent, because it's really hard for teachers to juggle all 28 students being absent. We try our hardest, but we don't want any students to fall through the gap, so please make sure that your child is contacting the teacher as well. Homework is also expected to be completed by the due date as well. If you would like to check over your child's homework, the homework keys are sent out to parents in the weekly newsletter. Speaking of the weekly newsletter, you can look for that on Monday afternoon each week. It will have resources, the homework key, important dates and information, and the remind code. If you have additional questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to your child's math teacher. The general school-wide expectations are for students to be safe, responsible, respectful, and kind, while also showing leadership. Students are doing such a great job so far this year, and we really hope that they keep it up. These are great ways for students to also receive lightning points if they exhibit any of these qualities. Communication from the math teachers to you as parents. A great way for us to communicate to you is through Remind. So Ms. Gooch and Ms. Medford's Remind codes are located below. We send out information about updated formative or summative dates, any kind of updates that we need that are also located in the newsletter, but just in case something changes in the newsletter throughout the week, then we'll send a quick reminder out. Students and parents can also check It's Learning for the class calendar, resources, notes, etc. Anything that you need in class or any type of resources that the students receive in class will be located on It's Learning. Also, please check PowerSchool for grades and missing work. It's really important that students check PowerSchool and parents check PowerSchool each day or at least once or twice a week to make sure that students aren't missing any work. If they are missing formative or summative assessments, that is where it will be located. Also, please send out or read the weekly newsletter that is sent out by email each Monday. If your email needs to be updated or say that you're not receiving the email each week in the weekly newsletter, please just send your teacher an email and make sure that your PowerSchool information is updated. If you need help with this, you can contact Ms. Sharon in the front office. That's it for the 6th grade math. As always, please don't hesitate to reach out for any questions or concerns or comments that you may have. We really just want to support your kiddos and love on them this year and teach them some math.